Hey everybody, welcome back to the Mariposa podcast. I know it's been a minute if you've been following our podcast. We took a little slight break there, but we are back with some new episodes and we're so excited for these new guests that we're going to have. Today I'm sitting here with my new friend Alejandro. And I have to warn you, he brings that big energy today. So I hope that you have your coffee, your tea, something to hold you over because this is going to be a really good conversation. I want to introduce Alejandro by saying that he is a local business owner here in Albuquerque. He is the owner of Elite Forged Fitness and Heart and Soul Meal Prep. So for all of you fitness aficionados out there, this episode is for you. We'll talk a little bit about fitness, but also just his journey, where he's been and where he's going to go. So should we jump in?
Let's do it.
Are you ready?
I'm pumped. I'm ready. Let's go.
Okay, awesome. So I'm just going to start with kind of an overall question. Just tell us a little bit about you, the things that you feel would be most important for us to know.
So I would say what's very important is understanding like my journey and how I got here.
Yeah.
So I got here literally through my older brother. You know, he was the one that inspired me to start getting into fitness. He's the one that got me into working out. It was great because growing up, I grew up with two very different lifestyles. You know, I was raised with gangs, drugs, prison, and fitness because of my brother. And I was raised with my mom, who also showed me like business, ethics, love, hard work, you know. So I got to see life in two different ways. And it was like the craziest thing because seeing that I didn't realize at the time the impact it was going to have on me, you know. So I was kidnapped as a baby. I was thrown in a dumpster and, you know, I had no chance of living. And at this point, it's like, you know, I was recovered a couple hours later, maybe like 6 hours later. And the cop told my mom that I was that 1 in a million baby. And I don't know, I just was raised with I have a bigger purpose in life. And that purpose later was to be found in the gym. My older brother gets out of prison the second or third time, and it was crazy. I was a happy fat kid, you know. I was like, well, happy. Mm-hmm. You know, I was overweight. I didn't like it. I wore 2 shirts because I always wanted to cover my skin. I wanted to cover my body. So my undershirt would cover my body, would make me feel skinny. And then I would wear my other shirt to make me look thin. Mm-hmm. So that was my psychological upbringing. You know, with that, my older brother gets out of prison. Him and I were always super close. All 3 of us, my mom, my older brother, and I. My brother was like, mijo, like, I'm out, let's hang out, you know, you want to come with me to the gym? I was like, yeah. I didn't know what the gym was. But
just wanted to hang with your bro.
I just wanted to hang with my brother. And he was like, come on, mijo, let's go to the gym. Cool. I stepped foot in the gym and that was it. I fell in love with it. The first day I walked in, I was like, I need this in my life. He helped me drop 30 pounds. I regained my confidence. I felt so good. I loved life so much more. I felt great. My older brother was just showing me all my workouts and what to do and how to eat and all these things. So with that, I knew I wanted to go and pursue fitness as my career. And I wanted to do that. I wanted to help other people feel good in their bodies, feel good in their skin, and just love life, you know? Yeah. So doing that, I started like working in the gyms. I went to school and I started off at UNM with computer science and I hated it. I hated everything about engineering.
As we all go through that path at some point. It's the one we think we want. Mm-hmm. And then we realize that's not actually what I want.
Yep.
I'm going to call out Andres right now behind the camera just because he's one of our employees. He went through that journey as well. Yeah. We all go through that.
Yeah.
You think you know what you want and then life hits you.
It was crazy. My mom was ready to rip me a new one. She was like, why are you doing this? Like, I was failing all my classes. I was having F's and D's. I didn't understand what was going on. I was like, I don't get this. And one of my friends, this was my freshman year, it was her senior year. She was like, why don't you switch? I was like, what do you mean? She's like, why don't you go physical therapy? I was like, we have that here? She's like, yeah. Cool. I started doing research. My sophomore year is when I was like, okay, well, let me look into this. I started looking into like exercise science. I was like, oh my gosh, we can actually study this. Oh, my mind went nuts. Switched over all my credits and switched over my career, everything with my advisor. Got into the exercise science program. And after that, I was just like amazed at everything I was witnessing in school, and I loved it. I was in Johnson Center and literally was surrounded by nothing but fit bodies. Yeah. All my instructors were fit. Everyone was practicing what they preached and what they taught. Mm-hmm. So I was like, it was cool. So I was finally not the weird one.
You were in your element.
I was in my element. So I graduated, got my degree in exercise science and clinical exercise. Then after that, I started working at sports and wellness. And this is where my passion for training really grew, and I started to expand in my knowledge base as a trainer. And I love it. I started training all my clients. I started helping them see the results they wanted. I started helping them achieve something that they never thought they could, showing them what their bodies are capable of, showing them that they're able to live the life that they want simply by improving their health and fitness. Because the only things that you have total control over is your mind and your body. That's it. Everything else is free game. But if you can control those two things, the rest of your life is yours.
Yeah.
So with that, one of my clients, Elise, this chick was intense. And I helped her drop like 25 pounds. She was like, I'm switching careers. And I was like, okay, cool. What are you going to? She was a psychiatric tech. And she was switching to corrections. I was like, oh, that's fitting, actually. I was like, cool. She's like, so I need someone to help me cook. Cool. So having the background with training, having the understanding of nutrition, I was like, cool, well, I'm going to meal prep for you. And she's like, get ready, you're about to start a crazy business. I was like, okay, cool. From there, just...
one thing led to another.
Yep. And because of her is why Heart and Soul came about.
Okay.
So she was my first client. 2 weeks, I was like, cool, we're consistent. Then I started getting another one of my clients in. And then he was like, oh, hey, listen, one of my other friends, he wants meal prep. And then it just started growing, word of mouth. We didn't do any ads. I had no labels. I had nothing for literally a year and a half. And it was all word of mouth. And everything from there was just like, okay, we're cool. Time to make the business legit.
That's awesome.
And after that, now it's just blown up. My
now
mom.
Here you are.
Now here we are, having the background with nutrition.
Yeah.
Also having like the understanding of how to cook, flavors and spices and all that because of my mom, and then also understanding training. Now we can couple both of those and help people, get rid of, eliminate one of the biggest headaches that most people have, and that's eating.
One of the biggest barriers to allowing people to get to the level that they really want to be at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if people can work out, everyone can work out, but it's hard to eat right. But if we can give you something that's healthy, it's nutritious, it's organic, everything is portioned out, it's weighed out, and everything is taken in consideration to understand like healthy hormone production, rebuilding your muscle, burning body fat, allowing your body to get the nutrients it needs, but still burn the body fat and feel good and not feel tired and get that energy up. Like that's it. Like we cracked the code.
Yeah.
And so combining both of those is what allowed the success to happen with both training and meal prep.
Yeah. Okay, so then here's my question for you. So passionate, what is it about the health and fitness lifestyle? What is it about that drew you in, that you're ready to hang your hat on that for your life and say that this is what I'm meant to do? What is it about it that you love so much?
I think it was literally because it was tied to someone that I love. It was because I got to spend time with my brother, and it allowed me to hang out with him more. And it also allowed me to gain an appreciation for what my body can do. A lot of people go through their day, they go through their life just, thinking that I want this, but they never fully go and get it because they don't have the right guidance. If you get the right guidance, you go to someone who has what you want and they show you how to get it, you're set.
That's what you need.
So that's kind of what keeps me going, because it is what keeps me going.
Okay. So I'm trying to encapsulate this for our viewers here. I think one of the biggest takeaways I'm getting from you so far is that your path was essentially, that door was opened by something maybe you didn't expect that was going to be the thing, the catalyst, the beginning, inception of your career path. So for all my viewers out there, stay aware. Like, it's possible that the thing that you might be asking for, praying for, looking for is actually right in front of you. And it's a matter of being open to figure out, is that the thing that you want to do? Where do you find the most joy and contentment, right? So that you can see if that's a possible career path. Now, the other thing I'm getting from all of this, and I think this is really timely for a lot of entrepreneurs, it sounds like pursuing health and fitness is something that is not just good for your body, but it also for your health, mental health, to sustain you for all of the entrepreneurial endeavors that you might be taking on.
Truly.
Can you talk a little bit about that to all of our entrepreneurs running on fumes, asking for a friend? Okay, clearly this is not for me, right? Running on fumes because they've committed their work, their life to their love, which in some ways is work, and have not taken that into full consideration, what would you say to those entrepreneurs, to this friend that I'm asking for?
So what I would say is, if you're able to utilize your body, push it to the limit, because every day in business especially, you're faced with so many headaches and stresses and stuff where you're like, oh, like, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to do this? If you're able to push your body to a limit where you're like, why am I doing this? You increase your stress level tolerance. So what I do, and this is a lot of my clients can attest to this, and I firmly, 100% wholeheartedly love burpees. And as totally masochistic as that sounds, I love to do burpees. I haven't done them in a while, like in the sense, like I would do them almost every single day. And it was all for mindset, because there's a point when you reach, when you're like, I can't do this, I can't continue. Like I've thought of shutting both businesses down. I'm like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. I'm tired of this. Like there's too much headache and not enough reward and this and that. But it's the moment when I'm like, you keep pushing just even a little bit and you get past that barrier. Same thing with burpees. So this is why I say I don't do burpees for cardio. I do them for mindset. Because if you're going, I told myself, okay, I'm going to do 200 burpees today. I'm just going to do them straight through. The moment you get to 10, most people are like, I can't do this. But then you do 5 more, and you do 5 more, and you do 5 more, and you do 5 more. It's the same thing as like laying a brick every single day. You lay that brick down. Eventually you're going to have a wall. Same thing, you're going to build that mindset up. You have those negative thoughts. You have that negative internal state sometimes when you're like, I can't do this. I'm not cut out for this. I'm not built for this. I can't do this. I don't have the strength. But you do one more, and you do one more, and you do one more. Eventually you're going to be like, I can do this. And I will do this, and I'm going to commit to doing this every single day until I can firmly, wholeheartedly, confidently say, I'm doing this. And I am who I am because I built me. I built me mentally, emotionally, physically. So fitness, and you look at a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of them are fit. Because if you can see a fit body, it shows that they have discipline, and they're also on that time constraint where they're like, they're not with that instant gratification. Because fitness is not instant gratification.
It's not overnight. And neither is business.
And neither is business, and it takes time. You don't see anything. You go to the gym one day, you don't see anything. You go to the gym the next day, you don't see anything. You do it for a week, you're like, oh, I feel good. I'm sleeping better. I have more energy. Oh, you do it for a month, you're like, wow, my clothes are feeling a little nicer. They're tight in the right areas and loose in the right areas. It's like, oh, cool. And you keep going, and you keep going, and you're like, eventually you're like, wow. You look in the mirror, you're like, oh my gosh, like I built this. And what looks back at you is dedication, commitment, persistence, and it's just that delayed gratification.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Which, what I will say, is really hard to find people that embrace the process.
Yeah.
Because we just live in such an immediate gratification culture, right? It's hard to find that. But the thing that you said that's striking me, that I'm not even sure that I've ever put this together in my own mind. And trust me, I think I like to think deeply all the time. Okay, I'm not a person just always in the clouds. But what you're saying is that if you can physically push yourself to limits, increase your stress tolerance, that's going to then apply to your business as well, and how much you can sustain. Okay. But what I'm also seeing here is that when you can do it physically, like that's the proof that it's possible.
Yeah.
Because when you're in business and you're talking yourself through a situation, like you don't really know, there's no tangibility about any of it, right? It's like, I'm built for this. Oh, prove it. Oh, survive another 10 minutes. Like there's nothing you can actually show for it, but
nothing tangible.
There's nothing, there's no external visibility about any of it. But when you can do it physically, like the proof is immediately there.
Yes.
And that's where there can be instant gratification.
Yes.
Because otherwise, like in the mindset world, like you're really just talking to yourself through it, and you won't know the results of that until later.
Exactly.
But there's opportunity there.
Exactly.
To prove it to yourself right now.
Your self-talk is evident. The moment something gets hard, especially in a workout, and it is the most evident and the most prevalent in a workout, because you're like, oh, I can't do that. Oh, first red flag, I can't do that. Of course you can. So that's the thing. It's like your self-talk is always evident. Every time I'm doing a set, with my girlfriend Angel and I, or her sister, and all three of us are working out, the first thing I'm always like, strongest, You know, I'm always pushing it to the limit.
Yeah.
And I'm always reinforcing that, all my clients. And I'm always telling them, what are we? We're like, we're strong. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Because it's that self-talk. You repeat it over and over and over and over again. A lie will eventually become a truth.
Yeah.
So if you eventually believe that you are strong, you will be strong. If you believe that you can do it, you will do it.
Yeah.
So
It's that saying, I tell my kids this often. I say, whether you say that you can or you can't, you're right.
yes.
You're right.
Yes, 100%.
And you see my son, he's 7, so he's like, he can't put it together.
Yeah.
But it is that idea that you're right, you know, and it really does take that personal decision to be able to do that.
Exactly.
But I appreciate that insight. I honestly had never really made that connection before, because I think that when you have a business owner that's really committed to their purpose, to their calling,
Yeah.
and they understand, like, even just the willingness to lead a life of an entrepreneur, like, there's zero security. There's zero guarantee. I'm not that there's guarantees in other places. There's just, you're literally walking into no certainty. And
100%.
there already is that propensity, that ability to be able to think beyond
Exactly.
your immediate circumstances. So if they can take that even one level further
Yep.
by committing to the physical side of it,
Exactly.
there's incredible power in that.
It's tremendous, and
Yeah.
it's true, and anyone can do this. You can do this even if you do one step a day. Take one step forward.
Yeah.
Then the next day, take 2 steps. Day 3, keep going. You can literally build on it, and you can physically see what your body is capable of.
Yeah.
Once you see that, it'll apply to every single area in your life. Your relationships improve because now you're happier. You feel good. You love your body. I mean, what's the ultimate thing that everyone wants? Everyone wants to be a millionaire. Everyone wants abs. So
Yeah.
it's like, attain the abs first if you're not a millionaire. If you're a
Yeah.
millionaire and you don't have abs, attain the abs. It's like you're going to find fulfillment in the one area that you have total control over. That's your body and your mindset. And that's it.
Fair. Yeah. So I want to bring in a loop in an aspect. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, because it is such a big part of how we run our business, that it is faith-based, and our spirituality comes into play a lot. And just trusting that we've been called to a purpose for a reason on this day, in this space, in this city, you know, all of those types of things, believing that nothing happens by accident.
I agree 100%.
How does that, now hearing a little bit about your story, how does that come into play for you?
I believe that there's no such thing as coincidences. Things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Always, just like you. Like, I believe that. You know, whenever you start thinking like, oh, I'm not made for this, I'm like, well, why did you come on this path in the first place?
Yeah.
There's a purpose why. Like, there's a reason why, you know, my older brother got me. Well, first off, there's a reason why I was rescued from that dumpster.
Yes.
I had literally no chance. I was cut, bleeding from head to toe. I was eating trash several hours in there. It was midnight. My mom was working graveyard. I had no chance of survival. And bystander came by. It was like midnight. They heard me crying, called the police. I'm rescued. Well, then a few years later, I'm already in the gym with my older brother. And then a few years later, I'm graduating with my degree in exercise science. A few years later, I'm training clients, and I help one client completely transform her life and change her careers too, because she was able to lose the weight. She wanted to switch careers. So it's like one thing led to the next. And there's no such thing as a
Coincidence in
a
that.
coincidence, because I had to go through what I went through in order to take me to where I'm going to next.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, I don't want to just gloss over that initial part of your story. You know what I mean? I want to handle that sensitively, because there's a lot of implications about that. But would you be willing to tell us like a little bit more about that?
Yeah.
How it, like, anything you would be willing to share
Yeah, for
about
sure.
that?
I'm totally open. Like, a lot of my clients know this, and I tell them this story specifically to never take a day for granted.
Yeah.
Because no day is promised. I literally had no chance of surviving that. And yet I'm here. I'm here, and my purpose is to help others realize that they do have a purpose and they can live another day. So my mom worked graveyards. My mom's a single mom, you know, and she came to this country with my older brother as a 9-year-old. My older brother's 13 years older than me.
Okay.
So, you know,
A good space between you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my mom would work graveyards at the hospital, and then she would clean houses and with her own company during the day. So then at night when she would leave, my older brother because he was a teenager, would go to the next door neighbor's house and play video games while I'm in the crib.
Yeah.
And I guess this just started happening, and whatever happened, that couple that came in and kidnapped me, they were watching the house and they knew what was happening. They knew when my mom would leave and when my brother would leave. Just so happened they came in, kidnapped me, and it just coincidentally, my mom got off of work early that night at graveyard, and they're like, hey, listen, it's night slow, just go ahead and leave early. My mom's like, cool. She would usually go in at 10. From that 2-hour gap is when they came in, kidnapped me. My mom comes back. And at the time, hopefully this doesn't scare anyone, my older brother was also practicing Satanism, craziness. My mom comes home and she doesn't see me or my older brother. So my mom automatically thinks my brother's trying to sacrifice me. As crazy as this is. And then my mom's like, my older brother walks in, and then she's like, where's your brother? And he's like, Mom, what are you doing here? Like, you don't come home till later. He's freaking out. My mom's freaking out. Then she's like, your little brother isn't here. And he's like, what? My older brother was a crazy kid. He's practicing Satanism, breaking windows, burning bushes, doing stuff that little kids would do if they didn't have like a strong father figure, which him and I didn't have. So, and we have different dads. But anyway, that's what happened. My mom calls the police, and then this was the year just before the Amber Alert came out. So then they blocked off all exits, and I'm assuming the couple probably had the radio on and they heard. So they go and they just throw me on a dumpster. And I'm in there and I'm just crying. I have no idea what's going on.
How old are you at this point?
8 months.
Okay.
So
you're cognizant, you're aware, possibly even almost walking, crawling, like...
Probably.
Yeah, okay.
And all I know is that several hours pass, and then, my mom and all the cops, everyone's searching. There's a search party for me. All exits are blocked from the city, so no one can get in or out. So at this point, my mom, she's in the back of the car, the cop car, and she's like, I don't know if you're real or not, but if my son can be recovered, if I can have my son again, I will definitely give my life to you. So my mom, she's praying to God, and then it just so happened that the call comes in. And then they're like, we found a baby. We're not sure if this is the baby, but let's go check it out. They tell my mom, and my mom's crying, and she's like, oh my gosh, she's just praying to God, and she's just like, please, let this be my son. They come in, and it's so crazy, because I was there, but I don't remember any of this, and it's just my mom sees me, and all she told me was that I reached out for my mom, and my mom is she's so happy, and the cops were like, okay, this is your baby, and she's like, that's my son. I'm like, cool. And I'm bleeding from head to toe because I'm cut up from all the broken glass and I'm eating trash. So, they took me to child services, cleaned me up, disinfected all my wounds. The next day my mom goes and they arrested my brother, but because he was a teenager, they let him go. But, my mom picks me up the next day and they're like, listen, we're going to watch you for the next few days just to make sure that you weren't involved or your son wasn't involved. And obviously the legal stuff that happened. So
all of that.
Yeah. And so that's that the cop told my mom, he's like, out of every 1 in a million children that gets kidnapped, that 1 in a million is gone. So your baby is a miracle. This baby, there's no reason why this baby should be here right now. And my mom just thanked God every single day. And so that was my thing. So I know there's a purpose for my life, and my life is to help others. And I just know it. I can feel it. And my girlfriend Angel, she tells me every time I'm training my clients, she's like, you just change. Your whole demeanor changes. You're someone completely different. But the intensity I bring for my clients, and I'm right there. And I'm like, you guys are here for a bigger purpose. This isn't just a game to look good. This is for the rest of your life. Yeah. You need to be there for your family. You need to live for your family. You need to look and be an example for your family. Lead by example. So you're leading your family by example by working out every single day. Even if you're not going as intense, but you're going every single day. You're promoting a healthy lifestyle, and you're promoting healthy eating, and you're being with your family. And that's my purpose. And now we're pregnant. We're having a little girl. And so for us to be me thinking of my story and what happened to me, I'm just I will never, ever allow anything like that to happen.
Yeah.
But also I want to lead our family by example.
Yeah.
And both of us are gym rats to the core.
Your baby's going to come out lifting weights.
She's going to come out jacked with abs and biceps, just...
Oh, that's so funny. Wow, that's cool. Okay. I'm a mom. So, just imagining your mom
Yeah.
Like that's real.
It's real.
But what I do see, and I mean, yes, I'm freaked out about the thing about Satanism, but also not. But because
Trust me.
I believe in Jesus, and
Same.
He owns the world, and
Yep.
and
I agree.
He's the King. But
Yeah.
all that to say that, like, what a God thing to do, to be like, okay, you're gonna steal this baby, you're gonna whatever their malintentions were, but for your mom to cry out to God, who I believe God has a special place in His heart for mamas, because
Yes. 100%.
He knows we need Him, but that He responded to that. And not only did He recover you, because like He could have recovered you and you could have worn those scars for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You could have taken that, and honestly that could have led you to a trajectory of things that we don't need to go there, but He didn't do that. Like God gave you a redeemed story.
Yeah.
And I just respect that, and I appreciate that, and that's just such a testimony to the things that God does, because he takes the worst things and he works it for the good. I was just telling my team this yesterday, that I believe that everything that happens to us, good and bad, it is to contribute to the advancement of who we are.
Yeah.
To the advancement of our character.
100%.
And just to see it happen in real life, like it's just an honor to hear that story. So
I appreciate you, and it's
you for
definitely
sharing
a blessing, because truly, like I could have easily worn those scars, and then being raised with my older brother around gangs, drugs, like I was with him at the parties. I was with him surrounded by gangsters, by lowriders, by guns, by all these crazy things, by violence. I could have gone down that path, but I was also in prison with him. I'd go, my mom was phenomenal, incredible single mom. Like, I have a special place for moms, because moms, you guys truly are impressive. Like, you guys can balance a whole household while balancing a family and balancing a business and balancing the husband and balancing life, and still look like you're keeping it all together. And it's so beautiful. And like with my mom, like she's such an impressive woman. She literally went through so much, and then for her to like still dedicate 1 weekend to me and 1 weekend for my brother. This was since I was 3 years old. We would go every other weekend to prison when he was in prison. If it was in Santa Fe, it was Grants, Hobbs, Las Cruces, wherever it was, we would go every other weekend. And then the other weekend would be for me. So she'd be like, where do you want to go? And she would literally dedicate it for both of us, like individually, but neither of us ever felt one was favored over the other. It was very impressive how my mom handled it. And so with that, I saw all of that negativity, but then I saw this positivity with my mom, how loving she was, how caring she was, being a business owner, doing whatever was necessary for her to bring her family out of whatever situation it was. I saw all of that, and I saw my older brother, and at an early age I was able to determine, like, your choices have a consequence, and what path do I want to go? And I saw that as a kid, but I never realized it until years ago, when I was like, I could have gone down that path. And I was actually having this conversation with one of my clients, Mike and Kathy. They are my 2 engineers. They are some of the coolest people. Like, I love them so much. And we were talking during the pandemic when we were working out at the park. And Mike was like, I feel like subconsciously you believe that you are untouchable and you are unstoppable and nothing can kill you. And I'm like, that's a great point, because I explained the story. And he was like, you came out of that, and yet you're doing all of these things, and yet you're not letting anything stop you. He's like, subconsciously, I think you believe that nothing can stop you and nothing will stop you. And I'm like, that's a great way to look at it. And I never thought of it like that. So now I try to go in every single day like, cool, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to set my mind to doing this, and I'm going to take over the world. And I'm going to make sure my family is taken care of, our household is taken care of, our clients are taken care of, and give the utmost respect and complete love to my woman, to our now baby, to my family, to our clients, and to just make sure everyone knows that I'm there for them.
Yeah.
So
you're that steady, that anchor for all of these people. Because you could have taken the other side of that subconscious, walked around carrying fear, carrying shame, nervous, uncertain, no confidence. There's a whole other side of it you could have taken, and you didn't take that. And by literally the grace of God, here you are.
Yeah.
With a whole new career path. And then to see how your daughter,
Oh my God.
she's gonna, I know, don't get me crying.
God,
now, okay?
seriously.
But your daughter, she's gonna get to see that.
Yeah.
And she will grow up with a strong father figure. And in some ways you will have given her a whole new life.
God, you make me cry. Like, it's so beautiful. Like, seeing that and like thinking like, wow, I grew up with just my mom. So my dad left in the pregnancy, 2 months into the pregnancy, and he was a veteran from the war. He was a Marine, left, and that was it.
Yeah.
He did what he did, and I'm now, I'm cool with him. I have a relationship with him, but at the time, I was raised with thinking I'm not good enough for love. At the same time, with seeing all these crazy things, I was also seeing,
struggling with that.
yeah, like I'm not good enough for my dad to love me. Like, man, like I could never relate to any of my friends who had dads. But now I'm like, I'm gonna do the best job I can for our little girl. Her name is Alessandra Maribel. So
Okay, you already and when is she due?
October 25th.
Okay.
Yeah, so
That was my son's due date.
no way,
Yeah,
that's cool.
That was my son's due date.
So it's beautiful. Like,
So I have to ask your mom, how does she feel about that? Is she excited? Is she?
well, she is ecstatic. She's like the first grandbaby for her to hold, and she's so excited. And
you're gonna have to pry her out of your mom's arms.
Oh my gosh, seriously, we're already, Angel and I were like, we're gonna like keep to ourselves for a couple weeks. Not let anyone
Good
come
luck
over.
with that. Good luck with
I
that.
know.
Does she know where you live? Okay.
Yes, everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, that's so cool. I'm trying to like wrap something up for the audience to like give them something to take away from that. I'm not sure anything I say would actually top just hearing your story about it. So I appreciate your willingness to share that.
My pleasure.
Let's say that you have somebody who doesn't have like the strongest past or foundation, but they do have entrepreneurial aspirations, things that they've wanted to do, or maybe they are teetering on that confidence of like, I can't do it, or I'm not the person who is made to do this, or I don't have what it takes. What would be the one piece of advice you would give that person who possibly it's a physical battle, but it's also the mental battle as well? And how have you been able to overcome that?
That's a good question. I would say just look towards within. You'll find everything you need inside. Don't look for anything external. Like external validation, like you can strip everyone from everything, but it's like, how do you feel inside? So it'll come back to your fitness. No one can take your fitness away. No one can take the dedication you've put in. No one can take your muscles away. No one can take your strength and the inner talk and the self-talk that you've worked on every single day in the gym. No one can take that away from you. But they can take away your house, your cars, your clothes, whatever. But if you can walk around and be like, I'm proud of me. I built this. If you can do that, then you can do anything. So
to start there, start there.
Start internally.
Start internally.
Start internally. Work on your fitness. That is the one thing you can have total control over, your fitness and your mind. That's it. If you can work on those two things, you're good.
Yeah.
You are good. I know that might not be like the best answer, but I think that would be like the answer that I would always come back to. It's like I'm like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm like, just go to the gym, push yourself, see what you can do. Then I'm always like, I can do 5 more. I can do 5 more. I can do 5 more. I know I can. I push it. And I think that's probably what I would go back to always, is just your fitness, because no one can take that away from you.
Start there. So if it's someone who potentially is lacking motivation, they're lacking confidence, but if they can find it in that physical example of what that would look like.
Exactly.
That can then that can bleed into the mental side of validating yourself for entrepreneurship.
Exactly.
Understood. Okay, I'm trying to think of any other questions. I want to make sure that we're giving our audience the knowledge and information that you would need to thrive physically and entrepreneurially. So what are your thoughts as far as entrepreneurship and mental health? Like, how have you been able to balance all of that? Because you're a business owner, but also fitness is a big part of your life. Would you say that's been kind of the primary thing that's carried you through?
Yes, 100%.
Making sure that you don't go into those spirals of burnout.
Yes, 100%. Because it's like your mind gets fried, and when you're in business, you know, you're juggling all these things. You're juggling payroll, you're juggling like expenses, trying to deliver like the most quality, like the quality products that you're trying to deliver to your clients. You're trying to deliver the best customer service you can for your people, and you're dealing with all these things, and people cancel, and you're leaving, and you're like, I can't do this. Like, there's so much, and it's like the one thing that would always come back to is literally doing my burpees or hitting a workout. Because in that state, when you're frustrated and you're stressed and you don't know, your frequency is so low at that point. If you can bring your frequency back up, you start thinking clearly again. You can work through any solution if your frequency is high enough. So, and I'm big on frequencies, I'm big on energies. So if your energy is super low, you're like, man, I'm so mad, I'm upset, these people suck, and this and that. Go for a walk. Even a simple walk. 10 minutes around the block. Something
Clear
simple.
your head.
It brings, and as silly as that sounds, but it clears up your head, because all that anger and anxiety and frustration, all it is just energy. It's just built up, and it's building up inside you. So why not utilize it in a productive way, in a conducive way? Don't reach for alcohol. Don't reach for any of these like negative vices that are going to put you even further in the hole.
They're just going to numb the buildup. They're not going to actually process it.
It's just a Band-Aid, but it's not going to cure the actual product, the actual pain or frustration you're going through. What will actually help you work through it is going for a walk, going to the gym, you know.
Exerting that physical energy.
Exactly. Exerting all of that energy inside and just letting it go. Once you're done, your endorphins are so high, you can think clearly like, oh, that's the solution I needed for this problem. Boom. Go in and you find out that it was the right solution.
Yeah.
And you can start working through any situation, any problem, literally once you clear your head while letting all of that energy out.
Okay. My next question. For the busy entrepreneur, so I imagine running your businesses takes a good chunk of your time. I don't want to assume that just because you're in the gym with clients or, you know, that you're just always working out. You probably have to be very intentional as to where you place those workout hours. What would you say to the person who is juggling a very full schedule? How does one begin to place it? Like, where would they put it?
Simply start off with just like 10 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes. Everyone's got 10 minutes. If you put your phone down, you can even go for a walk and be on your phone.
Yeah.
Do that at the time you're like scrolling through your phone and mindlessly scrolling. You can do that 10 minutes, and that's enough to be like, oh, that's nice. Eventually you'll be like, oh, cool, I can go 12 minutes and 15. And then eventually the time that we spend, and I'm very guilty of this, you know, I've done that many times where I'm on my phone and I started, you know, losing like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, I'll respond.
What I could have done with that time.
Exactly. So what you could do is just start off with just a walk, a simple walk on your phone, scroll through your phone and just walk around the house.
Yeah.
Walk outside. Be productive in that sense.
Stay moving.
Stay moving.
Stay moving.
You know, even buy a little treadmill disc and just be at your desk and just walk. Slow pace and just do that, and that helps. I would say another thing, wake up, or I mean, depending on your schedule and how your family life is and everything, you know, we go to the gym at like 5:30 in the morning, you know, before we even start the craziness of the day.
Yeah, you start your day with that.
Yes, you start your day with that, and your day is literally set up for success, because now you don't have to worry about working out after the gym or after work. Now you're like, oh, still got to go to the gym. I don't want to do that. Like, oh, and you just go home.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, I could have done my workout at lunch, or I could have done it before work. But, and that's the thing, is like once you start changing your eating habits and you start going to bed a little, you're a little more aware of like your habits, like on your phone, when you go to sleep and all that. And you can start being like, well, this week I want to put my phone away at least like 20 minutes before I go to bed. And then I want to go to bed at a reasonable hour. You change some of your eating habits. Doesn't have to be drastic, but just a little.
Little by little.
You'll notice that you start waking up a little easier in the mornings, even earlier than most. Like, you know, my business mentor, he wakes up at 2:45, and he goes to the gym.
What time does he go to bed? 5:45?
No, he goes to bed at like 9 or 10.
Okay, so he can run on. I'm bad at math. Okay, but
just a few hours.
A few hours.
Yes, like, and I've had other friends who they go to bed at like 10, and they'll wake up at 4.
Yeah.
So it just really depends, but they have busy lives, they have, they have family life, they have work, they have their businesses, they're running all kinds of stuff. So it really depends on your schedule and what you find best. Like there's no right time to work out.
Yeah.
I prefer in the morning because I don't have to worry about it later. And then that way I'm not like
off of your chest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But a lot of my clients, I'm like, listen guys, like if you guys need to work out at night, go. Make it a family thing. Even going for a walk, like I have this plan like programmed into my clients who are doing my online coaching. I'm like, guys, you're going to do a 30 to 45 minute walk with your families every night. This is your time to connect with your family. Be together. Be one as a unit. Talk to each other. If no one sits together at the table to eat, at least be together when you're walking. Because when you're walking, you're outside, you're breathing in air, you're talking to each other, you're noticing houses. You're like, wow, I've never noticed that house. Did you notice that? And then everyone just starts talking. And that's the time that Angel and I love to do. Yeah. We love to take our dog on a walk.
Yeah.
Like we'll go around the neighborhood and we'll be like, have you ever noticed that house? She's like, no. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. We just keep walking 30 minutes. And now that she's pregnant, like, minimum we have to do a 30-minute exercise. So that's already on top of our hour workout in the morning. We'll go later at night and we'll do a nice little walk around 7 p.m. when the sun's going down. It's not as hot. The paws don't burn on Raja and we're cool. And that's the time that we can talk about our frustrations and our day and who bugged us and how we can work through our situations and our issues and our trials and tribulations and all that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think one thing I'll share, if there are any audience members who do have kids, so my husband and I, we have 5.
Nice.
And we do family walks. And in fact, I was just on one before I got here.
Nice.
I took the kids. They're complaining it's hot outside. You might get some of that. But I think one thing that I've been trying to incorporate as much as possible, just understanding that the life of a busy mom, CEO, mom of 5, like trying to manage all of it. It's like literally however I can get the movement in.
Exactly.
Like whatever that looks like. And it's not going to be what it used to be for me, 12 years ago. Oh, it's designated 1 hour in the gym, make the most of it. Might end with the sauna. You're like, literally, we do not have time for that. Like, we have to use the time that we have as best as we possibly can.
Yeah.
And I think that's just kind of the thing with kids. And in fact, I'm learning that balance in work as well.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you got to bring the kids with you. The kids have to be integrated for you to get it all done. If you don't integrate the kids, it's not going to get done.
Exactly.
And so if that's the excuse, it's like, well, let the baby be in the weights today. It's like figuring out how to do that. But it's not easy when you're juggling because I think the assumption is everything has to be so segmented. No. And I think you'll find this out in a few months.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm not warning you. This is not a warning because it's a beautiful thing, okay? Yeah. But it's just figuring out the time management that you will have to restructure once baby gets here.
Exactly.
But the more you can integrate her as early on as possible.
Exactly.
Likely, the more you can keep the routines that you have.
Exactly.
If you have to wear her.
Oh yeah. I'm putting her on my chest. We're doing pull-ups together. We're doing dips.
To do it.
Oh
if you have that mindset, but to try to keep it all segmented, it's just too hard.
Yeah.
It's just too hard to get it all done and figure it all out.
Oh, for sure.
When it's not integrated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with you 100%. We talked about that actually. We're like, how are we going to do this? I was like, baby, either one, you'll go to the gym, I'll stay behind. I have a little more freedom in the day to go and work out when I want, so I can do that. I'll let you get your time in the gym. Yeah. You need it more because she's in mortgage lending, so it's just a little tougher for her to she has to go in, clock out.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
So,
but you'll find your groove.
Yeah.
Every family does.
Yep. Exactly.
And then once you think you found your groove, it'll change.
Yep.
And you'll adapt. And but what an exciting journey is ahead for you.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So cool.
Are there any last parting words you would love to leave with our audience? I feel like we've laughed, we've cried, we've planned about family. Is there anything else that you would want to say to anyone?
I would say, whatever you're gonna do it wholeheartedly. Commit to yourself because there's a lack of commitment now. It's awful.
Yeah.
So commit to your family, commit to your life, commit to your fitness, commit to your health. Like, there's no shortcuts. There's faster routes, but there's no shortcuts. There's no magic pill that's going to save you. Do the work. Commit to yourself. If you're not willing to do the work, don't complain.
That is, do we have I wish we had a mic. You want to drop this mic real quick? No, honestly, I wholeheartedly agree with all of that. There are no shortcuts and you have to commit. And it doesn't mean that commitment is going to be easy.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that everything that's difficult, I think we're trained nowadays, that if it's difficult, you should cower.
Yes.
And you should back away. And difficulty does not mean bad.
No.
Discomfort does not mean bad.
Yep.
And that goes for the physical, the fitness side, also the business side.
Yep.
Just because it's hard does not mean that it's something that you should cower away from. So I hope that today was encouraging to all of our fans and people who watch this podcast. Where can we find you? How can anyone who might be interested connect with you so that they could take advantage of your services or products?
On Instagram, Elite Forge Fitness, and also HS Meal Prep, or also you can go to the website hsmealprep.com. That's it.
Okay. You mentioned also some type of like online training program.
Yes.
So what you're saying is someone does not have to be local if they wanted to take advantage of your coaching and training?
Nope. I have clients in Brazil. I have clients in Colorado, clients in Texas. Like I've gotten a lot of clients all over the place.
All over the place. Okay.
We hop on weekly Zoom calls, make sure everyone's following their diet, their macros, their workouts. I can see when they work out. Their plans are already designed for them.
Okay.
They come in, do the training. They can do it when they want. And then we hop on those Zoom calls and make sure I can see what do they do good, what do they do bad, and how can we improve for next week? What are their goals and how can we make them better?
Okay. So you heard that? You don't have to be here in Albuquerque. You can take advantage of his coaching online. Where would they find that? That would be...
Same thing. Elite Forge Fitness. Just DM me and we'll get you rolling.
Okay. Alejandro, thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story. So grateful for your vulnerability. I hope that our audience leaves with more wisdom and a kick in the butt to get to the gym, people. I will see you there. I will see you there. Thank you, Alejandro.
Thank you, guys.
Until next time. Bye, guys.